gala all over the country tomorrow. And I suspect after the Grand Gala celebrations tomorrow and Thursday, we will hear the date of the elections on Sunday. And then that will take us into nomination day next week. And election day sometime around the end of August, 2nd or 3rd of September. And then school is set to reopen. So it's less than what? 3 weeks now? 4 weeks? August is a long month, right? And school, back to school will have to take priority for parents and for the Ministry of Education and the country. And word came through this morning that the Ministry of Education has been allocated an additional $2 billion to get schools ready for September. Those schools that were damaged by Hurricane Beryl in July last year. Yeah, they got $2 billion before, and apparently they need more. And they have been allocated $2 billion more. Yes? Here's the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education talking about that.
Pursuant to the Hurricane Beryl that we had to rely on first and foremost our $2.5 billion that were provided by our cabinet, our government to address the priority issues. Once we were able to move into the schools, we saw more work to be done. And so the scopes expanded for some schools. So we exhausted the $2.5 million and we went back to cabinet for additional support. And I'm pleased to announce that we got $2.1 additional billion to address the carry forward, which we have about 47 schools coming over that had expanded scope of works. So we have to attend to those gaps in terms of funding to complete those contracts. First and foremost, from the $2.1 billion.
That's a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Kassan Troop. 364 schools were damaged by Beryl. 111 that were severely damaged were placed on a priority list. Dr. Troop says the additional allocation is to be used to repair 266 more schools, yeah, in priority groups 2 and 3.
As we were waiting for funds, we had to prioritize in our maintenance budget that was provided to address some of the gaps in some of those tier 2 and tier 3 schools. So what that means is that the number of schools that needed attention reduced under tier 2 and 3 because we attended to them through our maintenance budget. More so, it also means that we also delayed some of those schools that are already on the list. Now that we are back up, we have those tier 2 and tier 3, and this year we will have 138 schools for tier 2 and 103 schools for tier 3 that we will address this year with the additional $2.1 billion.
On top of that, she says the ministry's maintenance budget has also been increased.
We got additional funding in our maintenance line. It moved from $450 to $628 million this year. So that will help us to catch up with those schools that we delayed because we prioritized the tier 2 and 3 schools that were damaged by Beryl. For the maintenance, we have 202 schools that we are working on for this summer to treat with maintenance, and we have $100 million that we have set aside to treat with termites. And that is about 103 schools that will be impacted in the first round. All of that is being done now, so we should be able to wrap up and give you some numbers by the 3rd week in August to tell you how we have progressed with our maintenance efforts.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Kassan Troop. To the political scene now, the Prime Minister is saying that every member of Parliament from the governing JLP has been instructed to compile what he calls a report card They are to present the report to their constituents. This as part of the JLP's campaign to seek re-election. Yes? Here's the Prime Minister.
We are entering the season very quickly. The season of decision. The season when you have to choose. And we are not going to close our eyes and say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No, that's not how we do it. The PNP want you to close your eyes and listen to their lies. No, what we are going to do is to examine the track record, and we put to you our performance, which we have documented in a nice little book. But we're not going to stop there. We have told all the members of parliament to document what they have achieved and done in their constituency. At our meetings that we are going to have, when your members of parliament are speaking, aside from the gimmicks and the show and the dancing, they're going to tell you what they have done.
Prime Minister Holness, you'll recall that last week Holness and other JLP bigwigs and volunteers took to the streets of the country to distribute thousands of booklets outlining their record of achievements, more than 256 achievements. According to Prime Minister Holness, voters must understand that while the JLP offers certainty, the PNP represents a massive gamble.
Can you imagine if burial occurred under the PNP? Thank God not like that never happened. You have a better government that knows how to manage government and run your affairs. You can have confidence and faith in this government. The PNP is a risk. It is an uncertainty. You're taking a chance. We have given you stability. No question about that.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. But while he pushes stability and achievements, the opposition leader Mark Golding is insisting that he's going to lose the election because of his statutory declaration still not being certified, and this cloud over his financial affairs. And Mr. Golding went further to say the legal challenge being mounted by Dr. Holness to the Integrity Commission will affect the JLP's chances of re-election.
It has now come out that the Prime Minister has even more legal problems. From the report reached Parliament last year, September I think it was, I said publicly the Prime Minister should take away himself. You cannot be running the country and be in charge of government with a cloud of this nature hanging over your head.
Golding made the comment while addressing his party supporters in St. Mary on the weekend. According to Mark Golding, the controversy around Holness's finances will cost the JLP the election.
I said to the Jamaica Labour Party, as an institution, they need to do the right thing. They have decided to tug it out. And look what happened now. Well, all I can tell you is third term is imploding. It is not loading, because the people of Jamaica will not accept being governed any longer by a government in which they can have no trust and confidence.
That is Mark Golding, the opposition leader. All right, just before we go to the break and to get into your calls and the outside broadcast. Last night, during Nationwide at 5, Ricardo Brooks and I were talking about happenings on the political scene. And one of the things Ricardo and I were speaking about was the conduct of the PNP General Secretary and the political platform, Dr. Dayton Campbell, where he has been shouting at us. Every time you hear Dr. Campbell, he's shouting, being belligerent. And it's something that we have been talking about. Several people, thousands of people have been talking about it, including comrades who feel that it is turning off voters. I have said it, but last night I made a comment which I think I should not have made. Yes? In discussing it with Brooks last night, you know, I fell into a scenario that is played out in many communities, many homes in Jamaica, when you have a member of the family who just doesn't know what to say and when to say it. I either like to shut them up and teach them how to say it. You know? How many times a year Jamaicans say, why not shut your mouth? Or box up on your mouth. Yeah? And I said, you know, why somebody can, and I don't want to repeat the word, I don't want to compound it, because I've thought about it, and I think it's inappropriate. It was inappropriate for radio. Yeah? And I do this job, and I take it very seriously. Yeah? And I think I didn't say it elegantly at all. It was wrong. Yeah? I think it crossed the line to the standard I hold myself to. Yeah? And I want to say to my listeners who heard it, yes, I withdraw and apologize for it. Without reservation. It was not appropriate for radio. Yeah? After the break, your calls.